Hey guys, it's Sander here, and today we are back looking at some kitchen table magic decks. This is a blue-black Megrim deck that I used to play in paper. Just touching on the namesake of the deck, Megrim. So for 3, 2, and a black enchantment. Sits on the battlefield, and then whenever an opponent discards a card, Megrim deals 2 damage to that player. So that is the kind of build around for the namesake. The mono black version of the deck, which I'll post up at another time, used to run like hippie specters and just all the specters that whenever they deal damage, they make them discard cards. That was a cool way to do it. Relied a lot more on dealing damage with flyers than it was the discard synergy. But this is all in, no creatures on the discard and draw synergy. The Megrim in a 4 of, we're also running the pseudo Megrim, which is Liliana's Caress, which is for 2, 1, and a black. Whenever an opponent discards a card, that player loses 2. 4 copies of Underworld Dreams, which is for 3 black. It's an enchantment that sits on the battlefield, and whenever an opponent draws a card, Underworld Dreams deals 1 damage to him or her. Underworld Dreams was an absolute all-star in this deck, because we're working a lot on not just discarding, but wheel effects, or making them draw a lot of cards. So the Underworld Dreams, being able to play it as early as turn 1 in this deck, pinging them every time they draw a card, and then the Lilianas ping them every time they discard cards. It's just crazy. So the turn 1 plays happen whenever we draw our Dark Rituals, which is for 1 black. At instant speed, you add 3 black mana to your mana pool. If you do have any copies of it, it's definitely worth playing in kitchen table magic. A lot of people complain that it's a bit overpowered, but it's casual play, so nobody should really care that much. Dark Deal in a 3 of. This is one of the wheel effects that I was talking about. So it's for 3, 2, and a black. Each player discards all cards from his or her hand, and then draws that many cards -1. So if they've got a full grip, you make them discard their hand, they take a shitload of damage from Megrim. If you got an Underworld Dreams out, and then they draw that many cards -1, they get dealt for more damage. You get the idea. It gets pretty insane just with a very few cards out. Waste Not in a 3 of. This is the only way that we had to generate creatures in the deck. So Waste Not is for 2, 1, and a black. And whenever an opponent discards a creature card, we put a 2/2 black zombie creature token on the battlefield. Whenever an opponent discards a land card, we add 2 black mana to our mana pool. And whenever an opponent discards a non-creature card, non-land card, we draw a card. Obviously, with the wheel effects, we can get multiple triggers off this. Getting creatures, mana, drawing cards. The cards we draw, we can play with the mana. Insanely cool. 3 copies of Howling Mine, which is for 2. It's an artifact. At the beginning of each player's draw step, if Howling Mine is untapped, that player draws a card, giving us more chances to draw into more discard or into more draw card. Underworld Dreams is hopefully out at this point, forcing them to draw more cards and deal more damage. Just another good card for what the deck was trying to do. 3 copies of Careful Consideration, which is for 4, 2, and 2 blue. At instant speed, target player draws 4 cards and then discards 3 cards. If you cast this spell during your main phase, instead that player draws 4 cards and discards 2 cards. Again, synergizing with the draw card pain damage and the discard Megrim damage, and its little brother, Wistful Thinking, which is for 3, 2, and a blue. At sorcery speed, target player draws 2 cards and then discards 4. Draw card, discard synergy. It's all the deck's about. But to finish out the deck, we had 4 copies of Rack, or The Rack, and 4 copies of Black Vise. Now the cards are similar, but they do differ a little bit. So they both come into play, and when they do, you choose an opponent. And then they both have an at the beginning of the upkeep trigger. So the Rack deals X damage to that player, where X is 3 minus the number of cards in his or her hand. And Black Vise deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of cards in his or her hand -4. Constant fluctuation of you draw cards, you discard cards, you draw cards, you discard cards. In between that, they're trying to play cards out so that they don't have to discard all of their spells, and then they're getting caught with the Rack or Black Vise triggers in between all the damage they're taking from Megrim, Liliana's Caress, or the Underworld Dreams. The deck used to be able to win really, really quickly. One of my favorite decks. I used to have what I called my Power 9. It was 9 decks that I carried in a case that were my pick of the decks that I had. I used to have 30, 50 decks, something stupid. But this was one of my Power 9 because I just loved playing it so much. It wasn't necessarily the most powerful. It used to have a lot of weaknesses against stuff like aggro because there wasn't a lot of answers that I had in the deck. If I could play the deck and it did what it wanted to do, God, it could be a hell of a lot of fun. Touching on land base here, just 4 islands, 4 swamps, 4 dark slick shores, which comes in tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. 4 drowned catacombs, comes in tapped unless you control an island or a swamp. And 4 sunken ruins, which has pay 1 hybrid, either blue or black, to add blue, 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 black, or black, black to your mana pool, or it's got tap, add 1 generic. With the land base here, it'd very consistently be able to play stuff like the Underworld Dreams or the 2 blue mana for the Careful Consideration. But Dark Ritual would be something a lot of the times we'd have fairly early, so we never really seemed to get stuck for the black mana that we needed. But that is blue-black Megrim in kitchen table magic. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to see new videos as they were released. If you like what I do and you want to support the channel, you can throw me $1 on my Patreon at patreon.com/ZandersQuest. And I will see you guys in the next video. Keep questing, guys.